Well, welcome to the Charter for Compassion Australia, uh, Deep Dreaming Australia for a Continent for Compassion. And our focus this year is on compassion in action. We're very delighted that this year the Australian Charter for Compassion is joining with the global coalition, global, what's it called? The Global Compassion Coalition in this special event. Compassion and peace have always been very closely related. In order to have peace, we need to have a sense of our common humanity. And as we do that, we're open to connect with one another and share expressions of compassion. These are, when exercised with wisdom, can bring about peace in our polarizing world, which is so very important in these troubled times. The Global Charter for Compassion has always had a strong commitment to peace, and here in Australia, the Australian Compassion Coalition maintains a peace sector, and we're very grateful to our peace sector lead, Madonna Quixley, of Let's Talk Peace Ballarat and Compassionate Ballarat, for her continued leadership in this space. It's my very great privilege to welcome our special guest today, Yashio Mochizuki from the Goi Peace Foundation and May Peace Prevail on Earth in Tokyo, and Heidi Unferdorben from Peace Poles Oceania and Rotary Adelaide in South Australia. Terrific to have you both with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This year, as you're probably aware, was the 80th anniversary of the ending of World War II. And Japan has been at the forefront of a global peace movement. But we have also sadly shared in the anniversary of the dropping of the atomic bombs with devastating effect on the cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Yashio, you were very instrumental in those celebrations and in leading gatherings around the peace pole and a peace flag ceremony. Can you tell us something about what that experience was like?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Terry. So yes, we have been gathering around Peace Pole and for Hiroshima Day and August 6th and Nagasaki Day and August 9th every year. And it's been 33rd this year for Hiroshima and 26 years in Nagasaki. They are both also broadcasted through YouTube, and we had many, actually, thousands of people watching,
Wow.
especially Hiroshima,
Mhm.
although lesser in Nagasaki. Uh, yes, and then we also ask people around the world to gather at Peace Bowl to remember about atomic bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And we have many reports about people gathering, and we're so grateful for people gathering around peaceful in different parts of the world. Thank you so much.
Mm. And a part of the Peace Pole event, a very significant part and moving part of the event, was the presentation by 193 nations, is it, of their. Can you tell us a little bit about the flag ceremony?
Thank you. Thank you for reminding very important part, I mean, crucial part of this ceremony. Yes. So we pray for 193 countries, the member states of the United Nations. We have to have some qualification. So yes, to praying for peace of each country, uh, and we pray for each other. This is the spirit of the World Peace Flag Ceremony. So we try to not only pray for our country, but try to pray for other countries.
Mm.
So yes, and then so it takes about 30 minutes at least. I mean, at least to pray for 193 countries. And then we did this for yes in front of Atomic Dome in Hiroshima, And Nagasaki this year, unfortunately, it was raining hard and on a caution of a heavy rain. We did it under in the room, but we usually do it in the Peace Park in Nagasaki, which is a 0 point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
thank you.
And Heidi, you had the amazing privilege of being in Hiroshima for the Hiroshima Day. What was that like
Mhm.
for you as an experience?
Yes, it was an honour to be there, really. I went for the first time to Hiroshima last year in September, October, and met people there from the May Peace Prevail on Earth organisation, and just felt so moved, going to the Peace Museum and the Peace Memorial Park, and just seeing how this city had engaged so much with peace building after this horrific event. I
Mm,
mean, there's peace everywhere. There's invitations, calls for peace everywhere in Hiroshima. Um, and so I promised I would go back for the 80th, and I'm so glad I did, because it was a very different experience going back,
mm,
especially in summer, very hot and humid. All the cicadas making so much noise, so many people around, buzzing around. And I really felt, well, I was able to really get a sense of what it would have been like on that day 80 years ago,
mm,
for the people just going about their daily lives, the cicadas probably chirping away,
mm,
as they were last month, or only 3 weeks ago when we were there.
mm,
And instead, there were thousands of people there, to honour and remember the devastation, of the atomic bombings, and world leaders, people from all around the world. Um, Music, like there was music that just moved me so much.
mm,
Just the things that were done to signify the occasion, yeah, just made it such an overwhelmingly incredible experience. One I probably haven't had before, but one I realised, what made me realise the importance of actually going there and seeing it and being a part of that.
mm,
I think, um, really made me realise the importance of being able to sort of, in some way or another, step into the shoes of other people
mm,
and other countries and cultures, to really feel much greater empathy. Also, why we need to ban nuclear weapons, the horror of the whole thing. I was really quite overwhelmed and moved. And to meet Yashio there for the first time after the official ceremony at 8 a.m., walked over to the atomic bomb dome, where the May Peace Prevail on Earth organisation were already live streaming around the world to people, and to see all the activity of the peace flag ceremony was just incredible, and engaging with people as they were walking past. So it
mm.
wasn't just people from the organisation that knew it was happening. There were lots of visitors to Hiroshima that were walking past, and they held the flags, and
Yes,
they made the announcement, "May peace prevail," in whatever
yes,
flag it was that they were holding.
yes.
So it really engaged. It was a, yeah, very engaging experience for those people just walking past, sitting down, watching, hearing all about it. So
Mm.
yeah,
I
yeah,
found that very moving because at the end of the peace poll, there was one of
yeah,
the um, facilitators was asking people how they experienced it. And,
yes,
there were
yeah,
people from all over the world. I mean,
yeah,
Hiroshima has been for a very long time, and for perhaps all the wrong reasons, because it's also a very beautiful city, of course, to visit and lots to see there.
yes,
But, it's been a bit of a tourist attraction, and
hmm,
many thousands of tourists go there each year. So the whole notion of the peace pole and the peace movement,
hmm,
is always in front of people's, minds and things like that. And yeah, sure,
yeah,
there's
yeah,
another wonderful experience in Japan at the moment. The World Expo, the World Fair, is on in Osaka. and recently you attended that on behalf of May Peace Prevail on Earth. What did you do down there?
Yes, thank you. It was last Friday, August 22nd. We did Osaka Kansai Expo, and then we did another flag ceremony with special made peace ball.
Wow.
Uh, yes. So this time the ceremony was with we didn't announce may peace be in the country name. We just announced the country name and then we pray we send message of for peace in at the very beginning at the end. Uh, yes, but this separately, this special made peace ball was the center of this ceremony, and
Mm,
then yes, we had 3 days, 3 days for collecting people's message for peace, written on the poster, and also for the small metal, and then we about 150 pieces we added to this special made peace ball, like seven-sided peace ball,
mm.
which is
Seven
made
sided.
of, yes, which is made of six official language of United Nations and Japanese.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Mm.
Mm.
Wow.
Yes, we were very happy. So many people were very happily joined, and they willingly signed their message in peace. And this time also they tried to write in different languages, not their mother language. So to pray for others. This is the
Mm.
spirit. Yes, it was.
Mm.
Yes,
So
I
the
think it's a
nature of
base
praying
is
for
a con.
others and for other nations,
Yes.
not our own, or for actually holding a flag that might
Mm.
be not your own nation. And of course, when
Yes.
we think about peace and conflict, there are so many places in the world that we kind of just mention and then realize, yes, of course, there still is no peace there,
Mm.
and how important that is. So
Mm.
there might be
Mm.
some people that are wondering what a peace poll is and how it came about and where are they? And just you might like to hold up, Heidi, on your desk there. You've got a desk version of a peace poll. So
Peace ball.
many of
Yeah,
them are, you might just explain it to us. It's kind of a
sure, sure.
four-sided poll.
Yes, so um, they can be bigger, as Yashio just explained. There was a special one made with seven sides, but generally they're four-sided. Here in Australia, most of them are made of PVC or aluminium, but you can also have them in timber. But the most important thing about a peace pole is that it has the words, which are the words of Masahisa Goi, who from the Goi, who was a Japanese philosopher and founded or coined the phrase "May peace prevail on earth," and that is always in English on the peace polls.
Mhm.
And then the recipient of the peace poll can choose what other languages they'd like those words to be translated into. So this one here is just as an example. It's got English, Polish, Swedish, and Sudanese. But
Mm.
there's room for me to fit another four, so there's a few peace quotes as well as other languages. So um, uh, yeah, they're usually about 2.4 metres high. They go into the ground about 60 centimetres and they stand as a silent vigil, I suppose, to as a reminder to us all that peace, for peace to prevail on earth, and that we all have the power to create peace. There's always hope for peace, and that peace begins with us in our hearts, our homes, and in our communities. Um,
So in a
yeah.
moment, Heidi, I might ask you how you got involved because Oceania Peace Polls or Peace Polls Oceania is your kind of role, and Rotary International, and Rotary in Australia have been pivotal to that process. So I'll ask you to tell us a little bit about that. But before we do, can
Mm.
you wind back the clock for us a little bit, Yashio, and tell us how the idea of the peace poll emerged, how far it spread, and how you keep a record of where all the peace polls are?
Yes, thank you. So it started early 1960s. This because Mr. Masahisa Goi, yes, gave this message: "May peace prevail on earth" in English, And then it was first, it was just a poster to stick on the like a wall or at house or at public places. But then the idea came later to make it as a pole, and then to make it a four side, and then the volunteers started to plant in the public places, individual houses, churches, temples, uh, sometime like a city office, something like that. And then, yeah, and then how we keep the record is, yes, we're so the peace poll makers, probably as well as Heidi, are asking people to report back to us when they planted peace poll. That's how we track the peace poll. And unfortunately, not everyone giving information back to us. So we don't have all information for track, but when they send us, yes, we keep the record and we have the data.
There's a
So
digital
how?
map, isn't there, of places?
That's true.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, today, maybe since 10 years, we put up on our website that people can do it by themselves. Yep.
And how
Uh,
many roughly peace polls do you have any idea that there may be throughout the world?
yes, in the roughly and in the this includes a little bit of assuming, but 300,000 people, we
Wow.
think.
Wow.
Yes.
Yes. So
Yeah,
as you say,
yeah.
Heidi, there's that silent witness, of the peace poll, and they're in all sorts of interesting places, as you say. I think where I first noticed them, Yashio, was in sort of national parks and sometimes kind of tourist attractions, places where there's a lot of tourists. But as I've had my eyes opened as I go around the Gold Coast and other places, often I'll come across a peace pole in front of a hotel or in a public park or something like that. And we communicate with each other and have a look on the map to see whether it's been there. So others might want to keep their eyes open for peace poles. And if they see one, you can make that connection and be in touch with May Peace Prevail on Earth on the website and see if you can register the peace poll there. Heidi, how did you get involved in the peace poll movement and how have you seen it grow through your participation in Australia?
Sure. Well, I first heard of the peace polls around 2020, 2021, when the centenary of Rotary in Australia and New Zealand was being celebrated. One of the projects to recognise that was started by the Rotary Club of Canberra Burley Griffith, Michael Raby, who had recently been to Germany and seen a World Peace Bell. And alongside the World Peace Bell was this peace pole. And he thought, I don't think he'd seen one before at all. And anyway, he thought, what a wonderful idea. And he brought that idea back to his Rotary Club in Canberra, and they developed a project to donate 100 peace poles to 100 schools during the Rotary Centenary. But then, of course, COVID hit. And which made part of the deal was to get them in schools, and people really couldn't go into schools very much. So it kind of changed to peace calls anywhere. And I think by the end of that centenary year, they were already, they'd already reached their 100 and it was going really well. And a couple of years later, our Rotary Club, the Rotary Club of Adelaide, was also turning 100. So I approached Michael and said, can we do this in South Australia as well as part of our centenary? And he said, yes, go for it. I ran that program and we involved at least half of the Rotary clubs in our district, of which actually it was more. So we have about 85, 90 clubs and at least 50 of the Rotary clubs in our district in South Australia joined in the Peace Pole project. It was such a simple way in a tangible way for Rotarians to be able to connect with their communities. And by then schools were opening up, COVID lockdowns and everything were done. And so people were really looking for that engagement with community groups, not just schools, but also organisations. Mental health issues were on the rise, anxiety in young people, just so many things. We had Taliban take over Afghanistan, and then other wars starting, Russia, Ukraine, and the Middle East, people that were being very much shown on our TV screens. So the idea of peace just resonated with so many people. And I don't know if it was because of those reasons, the global conflicts, etc., but that brought it more to the fore. But yeah, so here in South Australia, we've now got 170 peace poles, and around Australia wide, there's over 600 peace poles. And towards the end of last year, the peace pole maker who made all those peace poles, Peter Klipinski from Victoria, said to me, Heidi, I'm going to try and retire. And I think you'd be a really good person to take over this from me. So I was working full-time for the Department for Education here in Australia, as well as doing my Rotary volunteering work, and thought, well, if I'm going to do this, I really need to take time off from work and give it a real go. And part of my decision was going to Hiroshima last year to see, to meet people and to see what I would feel. And really, the minute I was there, I decided, yes, I'm going to become the peace pole maker. I'm going to take off time from work to really give this the commitment that it deserves. And so, yes, I'm on leave from work, and I've started up my own organisation called Peace Poles Oceania. And I'm now and was authorised by the May Peace Prevail on Earth organisation to be the distributor and maker of these peace poles for the whole Oceania region, which includes New Zealand, New Caledonia. We just put the first peace pole in New Caledonia a couple of weeks ago. So that was in February this year. I started officially, and I think, there's already been over 100 that I've made. It's just 6 or 7 peace poles every week I'm getting orders for, plus the little mini tabletop peace poles, which make a nice little gift for somebody, that have travelled all around the world. People are buying them and taking them overseas to conferences and giving them as gifts to speakers at conferences, which is amazing. So from my home in Prospect, in my backyard in Prospect, I've now got all the equipment I need to help make the peace poles with suppliers. I'd just like to also say that the supplier now for the laminated decals, we actually have engaged the Adelaide prison here in Adelaide, who have a sewing shop. So as part of the prisoners, one of the
rehabilitation,
is to develop skills and things. So they're now making our peace pole plaques. So they get to witness the power of May Peace Prevail on Earth as well, which hopefully will help them. Yeah.
So you said 600 peace poles in Australia. Are they just the ones that Rotary have been a part of?
Yes, they're just the ones that Rotary have been part of. And of course, there's lots like you. I start seeing them all around the place, and often they don't have and Yashio, this may have been also something very common when peace poles were first started, that they didn't have anything on them other than the words "May peace prevail on earth" in English and other languages. Often no sign of who put them in. They were, like I said, just sort of silently placed, and people gathered around them, and still do. Here in Adelaide, at our Peace Park, there's a peace pole there with no description on who placed it. But I believe it was the Japanese Association who did, because we've contacted the council. They know. And for many years, people have been gathering around there on Hiroshima Day, August the 6th, at 8 8 a.m., 8:15 a.m., and they all have been all gathering around that peace pole. And I didn't know about that until I got involved in the peace pole movement too. So yeah, and that's
Well,
not a
as I said,
Rotary one.
Madonna Quixley, who's our Australian Compassion Council Peace Sector Coordinator, and Lynn Reeder from Compassionate Ballarat and their team have been planting peace poles in the Ballarat area, including at schools.
Yes.
And one of the advantages, of course, in placing them at a school is that there's an opportunity then to perhaps add some educational component or some ceremonial component where children can come together and share their aspirations for peace and a more compassionate world. So it's a very powerful symbol, Yashio, and of course you've been very moved by it, Heidi, as well. But it's not just a silent witness, it actually draws people and creates a space and an occasion for people to share, to talk, to listen to each other. The languages that are on the peace pole are often traditional local languages. So I know that some of the peace poles here have local Indigenous language on them. So there's no, apart from the English, may peace prevail on earth, the selection about what the other languages, like the one on your desk, Heidi, is relevant to the community often. And Yashio, in the case of the World Expo, representative of the 7, was it, or 9 languages of the United Nations. Was it 7 or 9?
It was 7. Official language is six official languages.
Okay.
And then Japanese.
Okay.
And Japanese, yes. Japanese is a very popular choice on the peace polls because people know that that's where it started. Yeah. And just on that, the Aboriginal languages, we've had the words "May peace prevail on earth" translated into over 20 Aboriginal languages, and the translation has been done by the Aboriginal elders, not by us or anybody else. We always get approval from the Aboriginal elders for those words, and the translation is often beautiful, such as "walk softly on this country," as a translation for "May peace prevail on earth." One of them is "no fighting," no fighting, peace on earth. So some beautiful translations of the words "May peace prevail on earth" in Aboriginal languages.
The sort of nuance of language and the different imagery that it kind of raises helps to create a very rich tapestry of what the prayer "May peace prevail on earth" kind of looks like. So because our focus this year is very much on compassion and action, and both of you are incredibly caught up in the compassion and action of planting peace poles throughout the world and throughout Australia, what are some practical things that people could do that might be listening to us today in terms of getting a peace pole or planting a peace pole or using a peace pole? What would you suggest people can do? Maureen, Heidi, you've got one on your desk.
Yes. Well, I'll give an example of what we did in Hiroshima on August the 6th this year. I was asked to speak for a short time at the World Flag ceremony about peace poles, and I brought with me from Australia a ribbon, which had been, I asked for a group of refugees if they would write the words "May peace prevail" on English on this ribbon in their language, and also some peace builders. So peace builders and refugees alike wrote on this lovely ivory coloured ribbon, and that was wrapped around the peace pole in Hiroshima during the World Flag ceremony. And so that was one way, and of course, because it was broadcast around the world, a lot of those refugees here in South Australia were watching, and they were just so excited to see that actually what we said we were going to do actually happened, and that they were a part of that ceremony in Hiroshima. I mean, that was, so you bring people there's so many ways you can bring people along with you to have ownership over their peace pole. Another so this one here is an example of how when Rotary Adelaide has an event, we'll have a peace pole and we'll ask people to wrap a ribbon around it, and they can choose what colour ribbon, and each ribbon means something else. Like purple, I can't remember exactly what they mean, but purple means friendship, pink means compassion. What are the things that they're wanting to draw into themselves? It could be empathy, kindness, patience. So they choose, and they silently make their own request as they tie their ribbon around the peace pole. Another example with the Hiroshima, recently with the Hiroshima, is that the Ernabella Anunga School, which is on the APY lands here in Australia. Yashio, I'm not sure if I told you this, but that area of our country was actually affected by nuclear testing in the 1950s, and a lot of Aboriginal people were really impacted by those nuclear tests and weren't often even aware that they were happening. So that school wanted to have a peace pole and to talk to the young people there today about what happened on their country and the impact that that's had. So that was a real way of action, of them being able to talk about the history of the nuclear testing on their land and how that impacted their culture. And yes, many schools are the best example of how they use the curriculum and the peace pole and the discussion around peace, ethical understanding, multiculturalism, and anti-bullying, anti-racism, all sorts of ways that schools combine the peace pole, planting the peace pole with so many other things that young people have to learn today. And the young people all participate in the peace pole ceremonies. It's so beautiful. Families attend as well from the school. They just do a really beautiful job. So, and the children are always asked, what does peace mean to them? And what they say is,
Yeah, Heidi, you've reminded me of the one of the things I really valued about participating in the live event, Yashio, was the acknowledgement and the very gracious acknowledgement of our Japanese friends of all of the places in the world that have been affected, not only by nuclear testing, islands in the Pacific, in different parts of our region, including our Indigenous communities and here as well. And so another practical action, I guess, that people can be involved in ensuring that this never happens again is to connect with some of the global organisations, including ICAN, the International Campaign for the Abolishment of Nuclear Weapons, and here in Australia, IPAN, the Independent and Peaceful Australia Network, who are just about to launch a public community and political campaign called Make Peace a Priority. So we'll let people know about those kind of networks, including your own, so that they can follow through on anything that we've talked about today. But there are small actions that we can take, like having an individual peace pole and putting it on our desk and using it in our clubs or gathering around a family meal or something like that. There are bigger things that we can do through association with organisations like Rotaries or our local school. And I imagine, given Rotary's aspiration, Heidi, that if somebody went to their local school and said, oh, how about we have speak to the parents and citizens, say, how about we have a peace pole here? We've had some trouble in the school. Probably they could connect with the local Rotary Club, and I imagine they'd be very helped by, the invitation to be involved.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, individuals in schools or wherever, reach out to your local Rotary Club. And if the local Rotary Club is not able to help, contact me or another Rotary Club, and we'll put you in the right direction. And the Rotary Club will sponsor the Peace Poll for you.
Here on the Gold Coast, with Compassionate Gold Coast, one of the things that we found very helpful is to foster multi-faith and interfaith dialogue. And so when it's a number of years down the track, sadly now, but when the Ukraine and Russia war broke out, through that multi-faith action and advisory group here on the Gold Coast, we were able to get the Russian Orthodox priest and the Ukrainian priest to meet around the peace pole in the public parklands just by the civic centre on the Gold Coast, and to embrace and to be there and to be prayerful together. So even when we feel as though there aren't big things we can do, often we can use the peace pole as a catalyst to bring people together, bring families or friends together, picnic around the peace pole and use it as a catalyst for sparking peace conversations, because we need peace in our world and we need peace in our communities, but we also need it in our families and in our personal life. And every opportunity that comes up for us personally to think about where peace exists or doesn't exist in our life is an opportunity then to grow into that space and to create that peaceful expression to others through our compassionate action and through wisdom.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yashio, you've become a good friend to both Heidi and I, and we're inspired and overwhelmed by your work, as we know often you are, because this simple idea has had a profound and lasting effect throughout the planet. Think of hundreds of thousands of peace polls and all of the different reasons and opportunities that people to gather around them. Thank you so much, Yashio. We want to pray a blessing on you, on your work, extend our grateful appreciation to the Goy Peace Foundation, and may peace prevail on earth. To our friends in Japan who have been so instrumental in helping us to remember and to lead us in peace. And Heidi, for your work with Peace Poles Oceania, and the Rotary Club, thank you. Rotary is a great partner. It has a strong commitment to peace globally, as does the Charter for Compassion and its gathering of Nobel Peace Laureates as well. So together, the compassion movement and the peace movement are working together so that peace may prevail on earth. Thank you so much for being with us, and please follow through and be a part of this great adventure. Thank you, Yashio. Thank you, Heidi.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you, Terry.
Really.
Thank you. And thank you, everybody. Thanks, Yashio.
Thank you.